Hi, for chapter 1, I wanted to focus on a very key concept that I think is important not only for understanding this chapter, but also for laying the foundation for our entire course. And that key concept has to do with stakeholder management. Stakeholder management. Let's first define what a stakeholder is. Your text uses the acceptable and traditional definition of a stakeholder as an entity that affects or can affect an organization as well as can be affected by an organization. And if we look at some of the traditional stakeholders like employees, owners, customers, suppliers, and even competitors, we see that these entities meet the criteria for being a stakeholder. They affect or can affect what the organization can or cannot do, and they in turn are affected or can be affected by the organization's actions and decisions. Now, why is stakeholder management, meaning the relationship the firm is able to actually foster and implement between and among these stakeholders? Why is that so important in today's contemporary business society? Well, the reason is simply one word: competition. With an increase in competition, rivalry between and among businesses in an industry, a firm has to be more effective and more efficient in its ability to manage these various stakeholder relationships. The firms that are successful and are better at managing these relationships are likely to be the firms that are the most successful in the environment. Why? Because a firm's success, its profitability, and its sustainability is directly tied to aligning its internal strengths, i.e., what the firm does well and uniquely, with the external opportunities in the environment, meaning what customers actually want. And by using this definition, we can explain why companies like Apple or Walmart are in fact successful. If we take Walmart, well, the opportunity that exists in the environment is for cheap and convenient products. And guess what? Walmart has the ability to provide those products and services that consumers want. The same can be said for Apple. Consumers want updated, new, and unique technology. And Apple again has that internal ability to provide those types of products and services. So the firm's ability to align those internal strengths with the external opportunities leads to success. And I'm saying that that ability is tied to its management of stakeholder relationships. So if we consider this stakeholder management or these stakeholder relationships, we can compartmentalize them into three main areas. The first one has to do with managing the raw materials or the resources and labor of the organization. So managing the resources and labor of the organization. Well, we have to ask ourselves the question, who has these resources and labor? And the answer is suppliers and employees. And so the firms that have great supplier relationships, meaning the ones that are able to access the best supplies, the best raw materials at the lowest prices or the best prices, are the ones that are likely to be most successful. And we're going to talk about supply chain management later on in the class. The same can be said for organizations that are able to attract, recruit, and retain the best employees. Okay? Those firms are also going to be successful because they're going to be able to tie their business performance to their employee advantage. So the firms that are able to access the best raw materials, and when we say best, obviously that is defined by either the price and or the differentiated attributes of those raw materials, as well as the best labor, and again that's tied to cost as well as differentiation, are the ones that are going to be most successful and be able to build a competitive advantage, a strength based upon this management of resources and labor. So that's the first area. That's the first area when it comes to stakeholder management, managing those internal resources and the labor. The second has to do with marketing. And what is marketing? Marketing is basically providing information and incentive to those who may wish to purchase our products and services. And what's that stakeholder we're talking about that wants to purchase our products and services? Well, it's the customer, it's the consumer. Okay? And so in marketing, the firms that are able to create the best type of consumer relationships are the ones that are going to get the most consumers, and or the consumers that are willing to pay the highest prices. And that's the kind of consumers that firms want. So your ability to market yourself successfully, to attract those customers, to build relationships with those customers, meaning whereby they purchase your products and purchase your products continuously, is going to give you, again, that advantage in the business environment, in the industry. And the third area that we must consider has to do with managing your money, the money aspect, the financial aspect. And here is where the firm builds a relationship with those that have the capital, i.e. the stockholders of the organization, the owners of the organization. And again, firms that are able to get access to capital, and not only just access to capital or lots of capital, but access to capital at a good price, if you will, right? Those are the organizations, again, that are likely to be successful. The ones that are able to get access to the capital necessary to make the investments that the organization needs to be successful. Those relationships, those stockholder relationships are going to, again, help the firm to be successful. So when you think about organization, it's really helpful for you to think about organizations as being made up of multiple stakeholder relationships and arrangements. And when you consider that there are relationships between suppliers and the firm, employees and the firm, customers and the firm, owners and the firm, governments and the firm. And when you think about the organization made up of these ties, these networks, these relationships, it's easy for you to conceptualize or to consider the performance and success, of the organization as being tied to the effective management of these relationships. Firms that are really good at managing these relationships, getting the most out of these relationships, are the ones that are going to be most successful. Firms that are not are likely to see poor performances occur. So please, as you consider business, as we go through these chapters, think about it from the perspective of stakeholder management. Think about it as the firm competes in the environment, how it is able to manage those relationships more efficiently and more effectively to ultimately lead to better performance.